Welcome to the Game.minder report,
Yes,
ghouls and
welcome.
goblins.
Hello, everybody.
It's the Halloween version.
Yes,
right,
we
it's
are
enough.
recording on Halloween. It
October
is
31st.
Wednesday, October 31st.
2012.
And we are coming at you from a brand new venue.
The Shaker Launch House.
Shaker Launch House in beautiful Shaker Heights, Ohio.
Yeah.
This is where we're probably going to be recording from now on.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see anything interesting, if you're watching on the video and you see anything interesting happening in the background, it is interesting. It's a fun place. There's all kinds of interesting stuff happening all the time.
You can see the remembrance of Sandy through the window.
Yes, actually, yeah. Hurricane Sandy. A little bit too sandy for my tastes.
Heyo.
Heyo, yes. So obviously, Hurricane Sandy hit the East Coast Monday during the day and like early evening.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of New York is actually still underwater, and a lot of New York is still without power, which means you may actually be only watching this via YouTube. I don't know. Our hosting has been up and down, and Squarespace is actually right now they're doing a bucket brigade of taking fuel up to the generators.
Nice.
Good on them. Talk about a solid hosting solution.
Yeah, we had some. We got hit pretty good in Cleveland as well, but hopefully it is all blown over.
Yes. In fact, on Cortland, right by where I was when I was driving here this morning, there's a huge tree down, covers both sides of Cortland.
I mean, yesterday the two main entrances and exits to get off of and on the freeway were closed for me, so I really didn't have a choice. I stayed home.
Yes.
But let's get into the news.
Yes, of course, because there's really only one piece of news on anybody's mind tonight.
Biggest news.
There's the biggest news that you could possibly imagine in the world of video gaming,
and
that is, of course, that G4 Network has canceled officially Attack of the Show and X-Play.
Joining the likes of the music television channel, not showing any music videos.
I'm kidding, of course. That's not the biggest item of news.
I know,
this week.
but did you want to talk about any more of that?
Well, I mean, only to say that I've been watching Adam Sessler, who actually left X-Play just a few months ago.
Right.
But I've been watching him do video game reviews back since when that show was called Extended Play, and it was run out of the Metreon.
True.
And, it was I believe it was at ZDTV, but I didn't actually watch it there. I watched it when it was on Tech TV, and then Tech TV got bought by G4 TV, and now G4 TV is getting rid of the last vestiges of actually being video game oriented.
Right.
Which is unfortunate.
But let's talk about the real
what is the real
shocker.
news this week, Jim?
Well, Disney
bought
Lucas. George Lucas. He
George
bought himself.
bought him.
No,
They're freezing him in carbonite.
LucasArts is now part of Disney.
Yes, LucasArts. And what's interesting from our point of view, because obviously there's a ton of really interesting things you can talk about on this particular story, but
Correct.
The most important from our point of view is the fact that LucasArts, the video game publishing company, was included in the deal.
Correct.
Which means what for us?
Well, it means that. Well, the first thing is just before we get into some fun ideas, just on the business part of it, Disney is not going to be in the gaming production or producing. They're not going to put out any games on their own. They will still license out the games. So
Disney properties, right?
Properties, right? I guess saying Star Wars properties.
And Star Wars properties, Star Wars and Disney properties.
They'll still license that stuff out.
And Marvel properties.
Oh yeah. So so technically we can potentially see the Knights of the Old Magic Kingdom.
Yes.
The return to Mickey Island.
Bed knobs and blasters.
Wow. Mickey's Pod Racer USA.
Rogue Squadron 4 Darkwing Duck Edition.
Epic Mickey, The Power of the Force.
Indeed.
Yes, and my personal favorite, Just Dance, the Katina version.
Cantina Band.
The Katina Band
what
version.
What about Rock Band Cantina Band? Cantina Band.
Cantina Band.
There you go. Oh, that's EA, right? Or not EA? Is it EA?
But they could still now license it out.
They could still license it. That's right.
I don't know how.
Cantina Rock Band. That could be fun.
And everyone just gets the peripherals of the weird recorder things.
Ooh. See, now you got me thinking. I mean, there's already plenty of plastic peripherals for that stuff, but actually, those could be pretty fun.
Oh yeah, that actually that you can flip a switch and you can actually make noise out of it anyway.
Thank you for making me think, Jimmy.
You're welcome.
So now, just so that we're clear, the way that this is going to affect current games in the pipeline. So, for instance, like Star Wars 1313, which was only just announced a couple months ago. Is that going to have any effect?
From what I am reading, no. Because here's the thing. Like a lot of these things, once a deal is announced, it doesn't mean that it is taken effect.
Right.
And I also believe that since Disney is not going to have anything, they're just going to let it go and then like take it under like it would be if there was any movie in effects too, but when it was being bought. So I would not think that they're going to touch it. I actually a lot of the things that I've read is that the things that are working, Disney's not going to touch. So anything with the Skywalker sound or industrial light and film, all that stuff, they're just going to leave as is.
Well, the other what was the other game that's coming out soon? Is there another Lego Star Wars coming? What was the other game? There was a game that I had marked that I wanted to mention.
I know that there's
Angry Birds Star Wars. It comes out next week.
Oh, well, that's already. I mean, that's already done.
Yeah, it's obviously already there. But I mean, this is now a Disney property, which
right.
means.
So I guess the big question is for the accountant to figure out which
who's going to get the big huge check
pile of money does it go in? Does it go into this pile or this pile?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I mean, obviously the possibilities are endless, and we talked, I think, a minute about this back when I was talking about how I played DC, Lego DC, or Lego Batman 2 DC superheroes. And I had said that I was really interested in a Marvel edition, like a Lego Marvel Heroes.
Right.
And that's actually possible now.
Well, it was possible.
I mean, it was possible before, but I think it's likely now because Traveler's Tales is the actual developer, but it's published, I believe, by LucasArts. And you'll have to forgive me if I mix up developers and publishers and all this other kind of stuff. But the actual LucasArts started with the whole Lego Star Wars thing. And so the idea that now the same company owns Marvel, because Disney owns Marvel.
Yes, they do.
And Disney owns Pixar, and Disney owns
ESPN.
Disney. Disney owns Star Wars.
Right.
And that's the other thing is we keep talking about Star Wars. They also got Indiana Jones. They basically got everything in George Lucas's stable from LucasArts.
But Disney already
Lucasfilm.
was licensing out Indiana Jones because there was Indiana Jones rides at Disneyland and Disney World.
Sure. But I'm just saying, like, this is now, the indie stuff as well as all the Star Wars stuff and anything else Lucas related. So Howard the Duck now,
yes,
owned by Disney. Howard the Donald Duck.
This is true.
Owned by Disney.
That's so. I
wouldn't mind seeing a Pixar reboot of Howard the Duck.
Oh shoot! What was the movie with with Val Kilmer and the Willow?
Yes, Willow, I believe, was included in the deal. Yeah.
ABC. Well, ABC because guess who owns ABC? Disney.
Yes, they're
does that mean
quite
Clone Wars now moves to ABC morning on a Saturday night?
I mean, Disney obviously has been gathering stuff up like nobody's business.
Right.
I mean, and now a lot of what the sort of internet was buzzing about last night was just the ideas of all the various possibilities. Because if you think about it now, there was always a big joke. Sorry, George Lucas, Joss Whedon is my master now.
Right.
Joss Whedon just directed Avengers for Marvel, owned by Disney, which now also owns Star Wars.
Right.
So it's not a very long walk to get to the idea of a Joss Whedon-helmed Star Wars
and
movie.
I think everyone was saying that like they were giving. Everyone gave George Lucas the benefit of the doubt because he created the first 3 episodes. Well, the first 4 episodes, 4, 5, and 6, which helped him create the prequels.
Right, but he didn't actually.
Right,
and that's what's important to remember.
Right, because Empire, the greatest movie of that whole trilogy, or quad or whatever double trilogy, wasn't even by him. He had nothing in that.
He advised on the story, and I believe he might have done the first draft. But then it was directed by Irving Kershner, and
was rewritten.
I think he was basically just an executive producer.
Right, and the line of, Leia says "I love you," Han says "I know." That was an ad lib.
Yeah, and Lucas would have never allowed that.
No, so there is great potential, and it can only go up because he destroyed what he created, for good or for bad. I don't think he wanted to. I mean, there was no intent like, "Hi, I'm going to kill this." But as far as here's the other problem now.
Yeah,
video tie-ins, and I just thought of this. Most video games that are tied in with the movies are awful.
This is true.
There's now going to be 2 Star Wars movies. There's going to be, a Star Wars movie every 2 years.
2 to 3 years.
Okay.
Starting in 2015.
Sure.
With Episode 7.
Okay. Which means that there will be a video game tied in with that.
There will be.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
And it will probably be awful.
Well, but will it? Because again, hear me out on this one.
Okay.
We've got Disney,
who
owns Pixar. And I got to tell you, a lot of the Pixar tie-in games have not been all that terrible. Granted, most of them are aimed at kids.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that they're bad. And so if they can take the talents of people who are actually the people... I think one of the problems with why licensed games are always so terrible is because they're licensed out to people who are not creating the movie.
Which is exactly what's going to happen.
Under one roof... I'm just saying, if the people making Star Wars are probably like, because you got to think that any of the animation that's going to be happening in these movies is going to be done by Pixar. I mean, yes, Industrial Light and Magic is good, but I mean, you got to think Industrial Light and Magic and Pixar are probably just going to basically be wings of the same building now, kind of, when you think about it. And so by having all of these things under one roof, I think that the opportunity for these things to get better by being in closer proximity is probably going to be pretty good.
Yes, but then I go back to the whole Disney said that for video games they're just going to license it out and they're not going to produce games themselves.
That's assuming, of course, that it's going to stay as its own separate business entity, but that doesn't mean that it can't leverage its relationship.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So, like if you're saying LucasArts, yeah,
because the fact of the matter is, a lot of Star Wars games are pretty damn good.
Yes, when they're completed and finished.
True, true. Knights of the Old Republic 2, we're looking at you. But my point with that is simply that if we assume, rather than assume all of the worst possible things, let's assume some of the best possible things. If Star Wars games, by and large, are already pretty good, there's no reason to expect that they're just going to all of a sudden get bad. Yeah, and that's not to say, okay, again, not to say that there aren't bad Star Wars games, because there are.
Yes.
But I do think that overall, I think this is a good announcement. Getting Star Wars out of George Lucas's hands now is a better solution than having to wait until he dies and try and wrestle it away from his heirs.
And $4.05 billion.
Yeah, well,
what a discount that is.
I got to be honest with you. I have no idea how people arrive at these numbers. I mean, you know, Instagram sold for $1 billion. A lot of people thought that was completely like monkey balls. But then
the like I was telling you, the Los Angeles Dodgers sold for $2 billion.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Browns just sold for 1.5 billion.
Yeah.
And those are, you know, football entities. They get television revenue, and they're always coming in with guaranteed money from tickets and all that. But you still have to pay players. So I'm not going to get too deep into that.
Please don't. Sports is lame.
Yeah. But 4.05 billion for, I would think, just the merchandise that sold is worth that. Not even talking the potential new projects coming out.
Sure.
And I would think even Star and Light and Sound and look, just that would be worth 4.5 billion.
Yeah, I mean,
but from what I understand is that the reason why it was so low is because there's only one sole shareholder.
Sure.
It's Lucas.
Yeah.
And he is
now getting however many millions of shares in Disney. He's gonna still be reaping the rewards.
2.2% of Disney he will own. He now that after Steve Jobs died and that movie got his estate got divvied up. Lucas is now the largest single holder of Disney stock. He's not going to do anything with Disney, so that's not a big deal.
Well, at 2.2%, I don't know there's much he could have done.
But he's still the largest
single shareholder,
so he has a say. And then he's still so there's that, and he's already stupid loaded.
Yeah. Well, and the joke that I heard is basically that Disney paid $3 billion for Star Wars, $3 billion for Indiana Jones, and they got $2 billion off for the prequels. One last note I would like to point out about this that I did see a couple people notice is that Pixar used to be a division of Lucasfilm.
Yes.
The only reason Pixar even existed as a separate entity was because when George Lucas got divorced, he basically needed a bunch of cash to give to his soon-to-be ex-wife, and so he needed to basically sell a big chunk of his company. So he carved this little animation division out that was sort of doing theoretical stuff and not doing a whole lot of whatever, and sold it
to
Steve Jobs.
And what did he do? He sold it. To
Disney. And so now Pixar and Lucasfilm are once again
owned by the same person.
Together again.
Don't stop, please.
I like to sing.
I'm aware. You can do that on the GAME.minder podcast. GAME.minder. Sorry.
Anyhow, so I think that's pretty much, we've beaten the dead horse on that news now. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing where this takes things. Obviously, from a gaming perspective, it's probably not going to be as earth-shattering as it is going to be from a movie and other properties perspective, but I do think there's a lot of interest.
And then, like the one thing I was talking about with my lady friend was the whole, it's Harry Potter Land or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
that's in Universal,
I believe so.
So I'm sure that Disney will do a Star Wars Land. I mean, I can't. It's almost
Star Tours opened at Epcot in like '87, so I mean, they've already done Star Wars stuff in their theme parks.
But I'm sure there'll be like an actual like theme park thing, Star Wars the theme park.
Yep. I mean, it'll be interesting. Star Tours was pretty popular,
So yeah, I mean, there's endless amounts of things, and the power of Disney. I mean, if there was one company to purchase Disney, I'm glad that if there's one company to purchase Star Wars, I'm glad it was Disney. I don't know who else could. I don't think Universal would be able to do it, or even
the one negative. Honestly, I got to tell you, the biggest negative in my mind is that any new Star Wars film is now going to start differently. Because the fanfare that begins the Star Wars movies, that it starts with the dun 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 dun, dun, which is the Fox fanfare.
Yeah,
and they're not going to be doing that anymore.
Yeah,
so Fox is obviously not going to be distributing.
That's the big loser. That's so the huge loser in all this is 21st Century Fox
or 20th.
Well, didn't they change it?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I think they're just called Fox. Fox, a news corporation company. So anyhow, on to more gaming-specific matters.
Sure.
Obviously, one of our biggest games ever came out this week.
Yesterday.
Assassin's Creed 3.
Yes.
Have you played it yet?
I have never played any Assassin's Creed game.
Nor have I, but I did actually break down and finally order it.
You did?
So I am going to play Assassin's Creed 3.
How did you order it?
I ordered it through GameMinder.
Wow.
Yes, from my Amazon.com account.
Interesting.
I did. It was very easy, just 2 buttons, because I've already got my one-click signed up in my GameMinder.
The super shipping savings? Super savings shipping?
Yeah, well, yes, I'm an Amazon Prime member.
Wow, look at this guy. Look at this guy.
So I'm really excited to play that, but I actually it was one of those things where I had a moment of weakness. I went ahead and ordered it when I probably shouldn't have, because let's talk about what's coming out this week, Jim. What a good segue.
Yes.
So, well, first off, let's start with some of the smaller but still large games. We got Mass Effect Trilogy. So if you never played any of the Mass Effect games, now's the time. You get them all in one big package, and you can just play all the way through.
I think a lot of the downloadable content is also involved in that as well.
Yep.
So that's something
should
to
be
pick
a
up.
pretty solid package. We've got the Rockstar Games Collection Edition 1.
Yes.
Did we talk about this on a previous episode? I don't remember if we did. What's included on this? Do you know off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, I can tell you it's Red Dead Redemption, the Grand Theft Auto episodes from Liberty City, L.A. Noire, and finally Midnight Club Los Angeles Complete Edition. So basically, if you haven't been a chance to play either Red Dead Redemption or L.A. Noire, you basically get the the Liberty Edition. Liberty City was the handheld version of Grand Theft Auto.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. All right, so then we've also got Little Big Planet karting.
Yes.
Which I guess is sort of the Mario Kart for Little Big Planet.
That's exactly what it is.
It's precisely what it is.
And it's only for the PlayStation 3.
Yes. Well, as Little Big Planet is one of their sort of banner games.
Correct.
Like the Ratchet and Clank series. And probably Uncharted as well, I would say, falls into that category. And then we also have Curiosity, What's Inside the Cube?
Yes, finally, that got a release date just today. I was able to update that. It was eventually supposed to come out in September. Then Apple, then he was able to, him being Peter Molyneux. 22 cans, his iOS, whatever. He put it through Apple, and finally he got the go-ahead. I guess the Amazon Android version is good to go right now.
Right.
But they're just going to do the dual release. So November 7th is the day, and I guess it's actually something like 8:23 in the morning. Like, he's going to pull the switch.
I don't know that he gets that say on the App Store. He pretty much just has to flip the switch, and then it'll go live over the next couple hours.
Well, he is going to hit the switch at 8:23.
Whatever. All right, so that's Curiosity, What's Inside the Cube. But, of course, the big news. The biggest news.
Yes, Football Manager I'm sorry.
Yes, Football Manager 2012. No, obviously Halo 4.
Halo 4.
I mean, come on. How are you going to not play Halo 4?
And here's the thing. I just got my email for, hey, it's time to up your Xbox Gold Live. And
mine's going to be coming up in November.
And I have used it twice in 2012.
Yeah, I know. I never use it unless there's a Halo game I'm playing.
Well, because I was doing Call of Duty games, so I was able to reap the benefits.
Yes,
of that.
I never bothered with any of those.
And when this year, I've only just played the RPG Oblivion, Skyrim, yes.
Right.
And finally, I was just like, should I just cancel it? Because I used it a little bit for Netflix. I didn't, because I was thinking about that. And
the only time I use it for Netflix is if I'm literally already in the 360 and I don't want to have to find the remote to switch over to the Apple TV.
Yeah, so I was just like, but now with Halo, I'm sure I'm going to be playing with the. If nothing else,
if nothing else, we're playing through the campaign. What up? Nice. All right, cool. So I think that's about it with Halo. We'll probably talk about it a little bit next week.
Yes.
So what is your pick of the day or pick of the week this week, Jim?
My pick of the week is actually, I kind of not teased to it, but Grand Theft Auto Vice City, the 10th anniversary.
You sunk my battleship. I picked the same one.
All right. Well, there's another one too that I'll talk about. You can talk about this.
No, that's fine. We'll just talk about the one. We'll share it this week.
Oh, okay, because there was another game I wanted to talk about that sounded really, really cool.
Talk about Vice City.
Okay, Grand Theft Auto Vice City. It's basically just the Vice City game, set in Miami with the 80s soundtrack, and I think everyone.
But it's for iOS.
But it's for iOS.
Yes.
Now they did this with Grand Theft Auto 3. They sent it on iOS, the 10th anniversary, earlier last year. I believe it was at the end of last year.
See, I didn't play that one, but I'm interested to see what they do. Because here's the thing: I was never a huge fan of these games when I was sitting at a console. But I have a feeling I could be into them on mobile.
Right. The games are fun. You can some of these challenges where you have to do like missions can be really difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just the run over people with a car.
But you can do that.
All the time.
All the time. All right, so what's the other game that you wanted to talk about?
The other game is called Knights of Pen and Paper. Now, it's already out.
Okay. Yeah, I looked at this for a second, too.
It's already out for Android, and it's supposed to be coming out any day now for iOS, and then later on for the web and PC. But basically, this game is the RPG, where you are the dungeon guide, the dungeon master. So you create the plan, and then it goes out and turn by turn. You create the world that's happening.
Interesting.
Yes. So you don't play the world that's already been created by the dungeon master. You do the dungeon master, and then see how it plays out.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for the GameMinder Report this week. To view the show notes for this episode or to follow any of the games mentioned today, don't forget to visit GameMinderReport.com/24.
And to see the newest games are listed, don't forget to follow GameMinder on Twitter or visit Facebook.com/GameMinder.
And to follow all your favorite upcoming games, don't forget to visit GameMinder.com or download the app for iOS or Android.
And finally, don't forget to buy all your games through the website or app. Every game you pre-order or purchase helps support this show and the service. Signing off for the Gamer Report, my name is Jim.
And I'm Jeremy, reminding you,
Don't forget to play.